Today, we're going deep into the heart of ancient Egypt to explore a concept called Ma'at. And it's more than just an idea, it's a whole philosophy.
What I find so intriguing is how Ma'at embodies both a principle and a goddess. That's a combination you don't see every day.
Definitely caught my attention too. It's not every day we find a concept that bridges the cosmic and the divine. So let's break it down. What exactly is Ma'at?
In essence, Ma'at is the fundamental force that holds the entire cosmos together. It's that principle of truth, balance, justice, order, and harmony, all intertwined, like a cosmic blueprint for a well-functioning universe.
So it's like the operating system, keeping everything in the universe running smoothly.
Exactly. And get this, the ancient Egyptians believed that the universe was constantly teetering on the edge of chaos, what they called Isfet.
Sounds a bit intense. So how did they think they could prevent this cosmic meltdown?
Ma'at was the key. They believed it was the active force that ensured balance was maintained. It was like this constant tug-of-war between order and chaos, and Ma'at was what kept things from falling apart.
Makes you wonder if they were constantly worried about upsetting the balance.
Perhaps. But this idea isn't unique to ancient Egypt. You see similar concepts in other cultures, like the Taoist idea of yin and yang, those opposing forces that exist in perfect balance. It seems many cultures have recognized this delicate interplay between what we perceive as opposites.
A universal understanding of how the world works. But what makes Ma'at stand out? What did the Egyptians believe about its power?
Well, remember how I said Ma'at was both a principle and a goddess? That's where things get interesting. They didn't just see it as some abstract concept. They personified it as this powerful goddess working right alongside Ra, the sun god, to maintain cosmic stability.
So it's like having a cosmic referee, A&D, a divine role model, all rolled into one. And our sources really dig into how central this whole Ma'at thing was to ancient Egyptian life. It wasn't just something they thought about, it was woven into everything they did.
Absolutely, it permeated their entire society. And it wasn't just about grand ceremonies or pronouncements. They believed that every single thought, action, even your intentions, contributed to either harmony or disharmony in the cosmos.
Wow, talk about pressure. Like every little thing you did had cosmic repercussions.
Exactly. It really emphasizes personal responsibility. Living in accordance with Ma'at meant striving for truthfulness, compassion, justice, social responsibility, the basics. Yeah. And any act of selfishness or dishonesty was seen as a direct offense against Ma'at, like disrupting the entire cosmic order.
So did they have like a Ma'at police force making sure everyone was on their best behavior?
Not exactly a police force, but the Pharaoh, as the earthly representative of Ma'at, played a crucial role. They were responsible for upholding its principles through their governance and legal system. So yeah, kind of a big deal.
So the Pharaoh was Ma'at's VIP enforcer. But was this just for the elite to worry about, or did everyday Egyptians care about this cosmic balance too?
That's what's so fascinating. Upholding Ma'at wasn't just the Pharaoh's job, it was everyone's responsibility. Each Egyptian, regardless of their status, was expected to align their actions with Ma'at, contributing to a harmonious society, which in turn contributed to a balanced cosmos.
It's like everyone was part of this giant cosmic group project, where each contribution mattered. But did Ma'at stop at just outward actions, or did it go deeper than that?
That's a great question, and it takes us to another key aspect: inner equilibrium. They believed that a balanced inner state was a reflection of that cosmic order. A harmonious soul, they thought, reflected a harmonious universe.
It's like they saw personal growth not just as self-improvement, but as this contribution to the universal good vibes. Did they have specific rituals for cultivating this inner harmony?
Absolutely. Think about that iconic image of the weighing of the heart ceremony in the afterlife. That wasn't just for show, it represented this very idea. The heart, which symbolized your actions and intentions, was literally weighed against the feather of Ma'at.
So like a final performance review with cosmic consequences.
Precisely. A light heart, one that balanced perfectly with the feather, meant you lived a life in accordance with Ma'at. But a heavy heart, weighed down by, well, let's just say things didn't go as well.
That weighing of the heart ceremony, it really drives home just how seriously the ancient Egyptians took Ma'at. I mean, this wasn't just some philosophy they dabbled in, it was a way of life with very real consequences. But okay, how does this ancient concept, this Ma'at thing, how does it apply to our modern world? Where it seems like everyone's focused on their individual goals, on achievements.
That's the question that gets right to the heart of Ma'at's relevance today. See, the ancient Egyptians' focus on Ma'at shows us how much they understood the collective good, something that honestly feels like it gets lost sometimes in our modern very individualistic culture.
Right. Yeah, it's less about every man for himself and more about remembering that we're all part of like this bigger cosmic picture, this dance.
Precisely. And they truly believed that their actions, every action, was intertwined with not just the well-being of their community, but also the cosmos itself.
So like they really believe that acts of kindness, of fairness, even humility, that those things could actually nurture the world?
Yes. While things like greed, selfishness, cruelty, those invited chaos, for them, maintaining Ma'at wasn't just about being a good person. It was about survival. They really believed that without Ma'at, society would literally crumble and that the natural world would, turn against them.
It's a powerful reminder that like being a good person isn't just about, feeling good. It's about contributing to a harmonious existence for everyone. But let's face it, the modern world, it can be a bit overwhelming, right?
Oh, absolutely.
We're bombarded with information, with deadlines, distractions. So how can we even begin to, cultivate this sense of inner balance amidst all the chaos?
You're not wrong. The modern world definitely presents its own unique set of challenges. But let's not forget, the ancient Egyptians, they faced their own difficulties too, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Droughts, famines, political upheavals. Yet they still cultivated this deep sense of balance and order.
So what was their secret? Did they have like ancient meditation apps or something?
Maybe not apps, but they did have this profound understanding of the link between inner peace and cosmic harmony. And they did have certain practices to cultivate it.
Like what?
Well, for example, they really emphasized self-reflection. They had this practice called hisat, which involved taking time at the end of each day to examine their thoughts and their actions.
So like a daily debriefing, making sure they were staying aligned with Ma'at.
Exactly. It was a chance to kind of identify any actions, any thoughts that might have disrupted the balance, an opportunity to make amends, maybe adjust their course.
I love that. Taking even just a few minutes each day to reflect on our actions, on our intentions, it could be a really powerful tool, couldn't it?
Absolutely.
For staying true to our values. Did they have any other practices for, maintaining that balance?
Their lives were really infused with rituals and practices, all designed to align them with Ma'at. And remember, for them, this wasn't about just personal peace. It was about contributing to that cosmic order.
It's amazing how they saw inner peace, not as some indulgence, but like a responsibility to the universe. But let's be real, finding that inner peace in today's world, it can feel like, an uphill battle.
It is a challenge for sure.
We're constantly bombarded with, negativity, everything from the news to social media. How can we even stay centered with all that noise?
It's something we all struggle with. But one of the keys for the ancient Egyptians was their connection to nature. They deeply understood the cyclical rhythms of nature, that ebb and flow of life and death. And they saw those cycles mirrored in their own lives.
So by observing the natural world, they found solace and, wisdom.
Exactly. So for example, the annual flooding of the Nile River, that was a powerful symbol of renewal and abundance. It was a reminder that even in times of darkness or hardship, there was always this promise of rebirth and growth.
I think in our modern kind of urbanized lives, I think we've lost touch with that connection to nature. We're so disconnected from the natural rhythms of the earth.
And I think that contributes to our sense of imbalance, for
Right.
sure. But the good news is that we can recultivate that connection, even in our modern lives.
So doing things like taking a walk in the park, gardening, just, spending more time outdoors, those can actually make a difference.
Absolutely. Even small acts, small efforts to reconnect with nature can really help ground us. Remind us of those larger cycles that are always at play. It's about tapping back into that innate wisdom that resides within the natural world.
I'm starting to see how we can weave these ancient practices into our own routines, into our own lives. But for a moment, can we zoom out? Look at the bigger picture.
Of course.
We're facing some, let's face it, pretty daunting global challenges right now. Climate change, social injustice, political polarization. Can Ma'at offer any guidance for navigating these issues?
It's a critical question. And remember, for the Egyptians, Ma'at wasn't just about personal balance, right? It was a blueprint for a just and harmonious society.
So creating a better world for everyone, not just like this personal enlightenment thing.
Exactly. And while the challenges we face today are different, those core principles of Ma'at, truth, justice, balance, order, harmony, those remain, I think, incredibly relevant.
But how do we even begin to apply these principles to something as complex as climate change or political polarization? Those just feel so enormous.
Well, think about Mummet's emphasis on truth and justice. Applying that to climate change, that means acknowledging the scientific evidence. Really listening to those who are most affected and working together to find solutions that prioritize, well, both humanity and the planet.
So it's about finding that balance between human needs and the needs of the natural world, like remembering that we're all part of one big interconnected ecosystem.
Precisely. And then when we think about political polarization, Mott reminds us of the importance of dialogue, of understanding, of finding common ground, even when we disagree.
It's about resisting that urge to demonize the other side, remembering that we're all part of the same, human family, trying to figure this complex world out together.
Exactly. Balance doesn't mean we all agree on everything, right? It's about creating that space where diverse perspectives can be heard, where they can be respected, and where we can work together to find solutions that benefit, well, everyone.
This is giving me a whole new framework for how to even approach these complex issues. It's like, instead of getting caught up in the blame or feeling overwhelmed by how big these problems are, we can focus on those core principles of Ma'at.
It's a shift in perspective. Remember, we're all part of this interconnected web, and our actions, they do have repercussions, whether we're aware of them or not.
So it's not about having all the answers. It's not about single-handedly solving these massive problems. It's about, well, just making conscious choices in our daily lives, choices that align with Matt's principles.
Precisely. Even those small acts of kindness, of compassion, of integrity, they create ripples that extend outward. They influence the world around us in ways we might not even perceive.
Like that butterfly effect, but on a societal scale. Who knows? Maybe those ripples, maybe they'll create the change we need, right?
Perhaps. And remember, the ancient Egyptians believed that maintaining Ma'at was this ongoing process, a constant striving for balance. There were always challenges, there were setbacks, but they never gave up on that pursuit.
It's encouraging to know that they remain so committed to these ideals, even in the face of adversity. It kind of gives me hope that, that we can do the same.
We can.
Right.
And just as they believed in that collective responsibility for upholding Ma'at, we too can draw strength and inspiration from one another.
It's like we're all in this together, trying to navigate the complexities of life, right? Striving for a more balanced, more harmonious world, like a cosmic support group.
Exactly.
This has been so insightful. I'm starting to see Ma'at not just as some ancient concept, but as this living, breathing philosophy for today, for our times.
And that's the beauty of these ancient wisdom traditions. They have so much to offer us. They provide these insights that really transcend time and place. They remind us of what truly matters.
We've explored how Ma'at can guide our personal lives, our relationships, even how we approach global challenges. But there's one final piece of the puzzle we need to explore, this fascinating law of unity of opposites and how it connects to Ma'at.
It's where that ancient wisdom meets modern physics. You won't want to miss it.
Join us for the final part of our deep dive into Ma'at. Until then, keep those cosmic scales balanced. Deep divers. And remember, every action, no matter how small, it counts. All right, I'm ready. Hit me with some mind-blowing ancient wisdom meets modern science.
Let's do it. We're about to unpack the law of unity of opposites and how it gives us a deeper understanding of Ma'at and, well, the universe itself, really.
This is where I get a little nervous, but mostly excited. So remind me, what is this law of unity of opposites, and how does it relate to Ma'at again?
So we've talked about Ma'at as this constant dance between order and chaos.
Right.
Well, the law of unity of opposites, it takes that idea a step further. It says that those seemingly opposite forces, light and dark, they're not actually separate. They're fundamentally interconnected. Actually, they rely on each other to exist.
So, instead of seeing them as opposing forces, it's more like two sides of the same coin, like each one defines and completes the other.
That's it. Every force has its equal and opposite counterpart, and they're not enemies, but two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
And this idea, it resonates across cultures, across time. We see it in Taoism, Hinduism, indigenous cultures all over the world.
So ancient cultures, they kind of grasp this concept intuitively, but you mentioned modern science. That's what really gets me curious.
Well, what's so amazing is how this ancient wisdom, it actually aligns with some of the biggest discoveries in modern physics.
Really?
Think about Einstein, his theory of relativity.
Yeah.
Completely revolutionized our understanding of the universe, right? It showed that mass and energy are equivalent, that space and time are interwoven.
So not just a bunch of separate, independent objects floating around.
Exactly. Everything's interconnected, even things that seem totally opposite, which echoes the core principle of the law of unity of opposites.
Wow. It's like these ancient philosophical ideas are being backed up by science now.
It's incredible, right? And it goes even deeper. Quantum physics, it's revealed even more mind-bending stuff about reality.
Okay, like what?
Well, they've shown that particles can exist in multiple states at the same time.
Yeah.
It blurs the lines between what's real, what's unreal, particle, wave.
Whoa.
Challenges our whole idea of duality.
Huh.
Things are far more complex, far more interconnected than they appear.
It's like the universe is playing with us, showing us that things aren't as black and white as we think. It reminds me of Ma'at, how it emphasizes balance, that interplay of opposing forces.
Exactly. Ma and this modern scientific view, they fit perfectly together.
Mm-hmm.
The universe is this complex, interconnected system where opposites are actually integral parts of the whole. It's as if the ancient Egyptians, they just knew intuitively how interconnected everything is.
It's mind-blowing. It's humbling, but it's also empowering in a way, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
Because it means that our actions, even the small ones, can have this ripple effect, you know?
Yeah.
Influence the whole thing.
They do. But it raises a question, doesn't it?
What's that?
If these opposite forces are so interconnected, does that mean that darkness or chaos is necessary for there to be light and order?
That's exactly what I was thinking. Does embracing Ma'at mean that we have to accept darkness, chaos?
Well, we have to be careful not to misunderstand the law of unity of opposites.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that darkness is good or that we should want chaos.
Right.
It's about recognizing that those things, they have a role to play in the overall balance.
Yeah.
They provide the contrast that makes light and order meaningful.
I see. So it's like how a muscle needs resistance to get stronger, or how a painting needs shadows to create depth.
Yes. Just like you can't have day without night, or a breath without both inhale and exhale. The universe needs this interplay of opposites. They define each other. They complete each other.
It's like a whole new way of looking at things. Instead of fearing darkness or chaos, we can appreciate the role in the bigger picture. Even challenges, setbacks, maybe we can see them as chances to grow, to transform.
Exactly. Like the caterpillar turning into a butterfly. It's not always pretty, but it's essential. And remember, Ma'at, it's not about reaching some perfect state. It's about constantly engaging in this dance between order and chaos, light and shadow, striving for balance, even amidst the ups and downs of life.
The journey, not the destination. That's really powerful. But okay, how do we know when we found that balance? Is there like a cosmic checklist we can use?
I wish it were that easy. There's no one-size-fits-all answer. Finding balance, it's a lifelong process. It's about self-discovery, self-awareness, paying attention to those little internal cues, those feelings of being out of alignment, and then making adjustments.
So it's more about constant course correction rather than reaching some fixed point of perfect equilibrium.
Exactly. And just as the ancient Egyptians used Ma'at as this guiding principle, we can use this concept of balance to make decisions, to set intentions, to navigate this complex world.
This is so inspiring, but I have to admit, it's a little daunting to think about putting these cosmic principles into practice in my everyday life. Got any tips for us mere mortals? How do we embody Ma'at in a world that often feels, kind of chaotic?
Remember those ancient Egyptian practices we talked about?
Yeah.
Self-reflection, connecting with nature. Those are great places to start. Even just taking a few minutes each day to quiet the mind, to connect with your breath, to reflect. It can help you stay aligned with your values and make choices that contribute to greater balance.
Like checking in with our inner compass, making sure we're still on course.
That's a great way to put it. And then spending time in nature, even a little bit, in a park, in your backyard. That can really ground you, remind you of those natural rhythms, those larger forces that are always at play.
It's about reconnecting with that sense of awe and wonder, the kind of thing we often lose sight of in our busy, tech-filled lives.
Exactly. And just like the ancient Egyptians believed that upholding Ma'at was a collective responsibility, we can support each other in this, connect with like-minded people, build communities that value balance, that value harmony, and inspire each other to live by these timeless principles.
It's like taking this ancient wisdom and giving it a modern twist, creating a blueprint for a more balanced, more harmonious world. Who knows, maybe just by living these principles ourselves, we can tip the scales towards greater balance. Globally, even.
What a beautiful thought.
Well, deep divers, our exploration of Ma'at comes to an end here. But I feel like our journey toward balance has just begun. We've seen how Ma'at, it's so much more than just an ancient concept. It's a living philosophy with wisdom for navigating our modern lives.
We've looked at Ma'at as a principle, a goddess of force. And we've seen how it connects to that law of unity of opposites, how it aligns with what science is discovering today.
And most importantly, we've seen how Mott can be this guiding principle in our lives, helping us face challenges, find inner peace, and contribute to a more balanced and harmonious world. What a powerful gift from ancient Egypt.
It truly is.
As you go back out into the world, deep divers, remember the wisdom of Mott, embrace those opposites, strive for balance in all that you do, and never forget, every action, no matter how small, it can make a difference.
May Mott guide your path.
Until next time, keep diving deep, keep seeking wisdom.